right, guys, welcome back to Kickin It With Christ, episode 4. Why are you looking like that?
I'm stressed.
Parris is in a funk today.
I'm not in a funk. I'm just stressed out.
He is a techie, but
It didn't go so well. I was trying to get all the stuff ready because it's been a while since we shot. And
so you got rusty.
No, I didn't get rusty. The equipment got rusty.
Okay. Anyway, I think we fell into one of those cycles where, or at least I fell into a cycle of like saying, okay, well, let's just wait until tomorrow when things calm down. And then it turned into, okay, well, this week is crazy, but things will calm down next week. And then it didn't. And it was just a good reminder that things never calm down. And things will not calm down or slow down until the Lord calls us home.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. But a lot has changed. I want to start with trying to think of where we left off. I'd like to start with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience and the experience of the few weeks leading up to that.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you just talked about why we haven't shot in a long time. We just felt like time was getting away from us. Maybe a little bit of laziness. A little bit of, I don't know, just, everyday human routine, I guess.
You just called us out.
Yeah, I mean, no, we were being lazy.
For sure.
I think we were being lazy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it feels good to be back in front of all the lights and the cameras shooting again. But yeah, just talking about the Super Bowl. So I mean, the weeks leading up to it, I was on P Squad.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody that was watching remembers that. I was on P Squad. And then like the week or two right before the playoffs, because we had clinched the playoffs early, and we found out we were going to the playoffs. Like the week or two before it, my receiver coach told me in the meeting that the plan was to make me active for the playoffs. Like just in that moment, it felt so worth it to just stick through and trust God, because I mean, obviously, that was kind of just that whole time for me. Like I was just trying to stay down and stay grounded and stay like just in the Word, in my faith, and just trust the Lord.
Right.
Because I literally had no idea what was going to come about. I mean, if you told me from day one when I got cut the first time that at the end of the year that I would be active during the playoffs, and I would be like, oh yeah, sign me up. But like,
I'm pretty sure I did.
You might have did. But yeah, I mean, because I do remember you saying like, oh, you never know what could happen.
I said when you're thinking about this, just imagine like it's the end of the season, and I said, what if you could contribute in a way that you have no idea?
Yeah. So, I mean, it started from there, being told I was gonna be active, and then just going through the ride of the playoffs. I mean, I got a chance to play in every playoff game. I got a chance to play in the Super Bowl, and I could have, whatever. Like I ain't getting no targets and no catches like that, but just being out there from where I had came from, you know what I mean? That's everybody's dream when you play football, to play in the playoff game in the NFL and play in the Super Bowl, and win the Super Bowl. Right. You know what I mean? So I get chills now, but it's just, it was a blessing, man. It really was a blessing because the Lord, He moved in me in a way that I didn't know that He could. And, if that meant that I had to get humbled by being cut and being on P Squad, and, I saw myself grow. I saw myself be resilient. I saw myself battle it wasn't easy.
Every day,
you know what I mean? It was hard. And I just saw myself like never give up, continue to go to work. Like, I changed my routine of going to the building early, like just staying ready, being in the playbook. Practicing hard, like whenever they needed me, filling in. Like it was just, I had fun. Yeah. But like I said, it was hard too. But I also saw the Lord grow in me, and I think it was a really transformative season for me, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a person. And
absolutely.
I'm just grateful for this experience because now I have a story to tell. And it's just God keeps putting stories to tell. I know.
The story continues. Speaking of the story continuing. So now a lot of time has passed. Obviously, we went into free agency, and you signed with the
Dallas Cowboys. Yes, sir.
How does that feel? I know for me, I feel excited, but how do you feel?
It's surreal.
Yeah.
It really is surreal because, I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. Papa, my granddad, was a Cowboys fan. My dad was a Cowboys fan.
Your dad was too?
Yeah, my dad is
I
a
didn't know
Cowboys
that.
fan.
That's
Shoot, my
really
mom
cool.
is a Cowboys fan. Granny,
Yeah.
like really the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kane, my best friend, is a Cowboys fan. Marty, shout out Kane and Marty. They're both Cowboys fans. And it's just crazy because the other day Tay was in the kitchen like doing dishes or whatever, and she had a Dallas Cowboys hoodie on, and I just looked at the star, looked at the logo, and I'm like, bro, this is so surreal. Like it's
real
crazy
life.
that I get this opportunity to play for, the team that I grew up loving and watching. Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, like those are my two favorite players growing up, and it's just I don't know, it's just surreal. It just really is a surreal moment. And I'm thankful. Like I'm thankful for the Lord for planting this opportunity. I know we loved our time here in Philly.
Yeah.
And we had a good thing going. Kai's in a great school.
Yeah.
It's just I think one thing is about us is like we love stability and we love to be comfortable. But that's a place where God has tested us the most.
Yeah.
In our lives thus far. People can say what they want to say about, oh, you bounce around team to team, but man, I just feel like that's where the Lord is calling us.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And especially how it all played out. So yeah, I mean, we're excited. I'm excited, just
I'm
like you.
so excited. It's crazy how much it felt like home when
Yeah.
we were there for you to sign. And I haven't really explored the area much, but it felt good to be there.
Yeah.
And it felt great to be in Philly too. But
It's just something that's different.
yeah, I was a little nervous because Skylar, our daughter, would sing herself to sleep all season singing the Eagles fight song. And I was a little nervous. I said, listen, we cannot go in this facility in Dallas and you start singing Fly Eagles Fly. Please do not. But I took her into the pro shop. She saw one of the Cowboys cheerleaders' uniforms, demanded I purchase it and put it on her.
And it was over with.
She wears like a 4T and it was a 2T. I painted it on her and she wore it the entire day. She bleeds blue now.
She is what is it, DCC?
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. She wants to be a
Yes.
part of the team. So yeah.
It all aligned perfectly.
It was fun. And I mean, I was grateful that y'all got to come with me to go sign.
Yeah.
The
We had
hospitality
never done
that was the first time you guys got to do that. So the hospitality that they showed, I don't know, it seems very family friendly. Coaching staff seems cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, I got to meet Dak in person. Know a couple players that's already there. I got to meet Jalen Tober, who's a receiver there. So, I mean, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the opportunity, and it's like the career goes on. Like
Year 7, right? This will
be year 7. So
that's a blessing.
and it's
in
already
itself.
been for sure.
Are you kidding?
It's already been a movie. So let's see how the Lord continues to work in it.
It'll be a good time. And speaking of the Lord working, I was thinking a lot this week and thinking about moving again after being settled, finding a church that I'm absolutely in love with, a school for the kids that we're in love with. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of sad to do this again, but it feels surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
And I started reflecting on all of the times that I was younger and I had to move
Yeah.
and move and move. And at that time, I didn't understand. And I could not think of a single reason why God would pick me up from all of the connections and all of the places that I came to love. And I also questioned my parents. And this is one thing if you're listening and you're younger.
Yeah.
And you're like, why are my parents the way they are? Maybe wait until you're closer to 30 and then reevaluate. Because they're living life for the first time too and doing the best that they can. My parents made the best decisions. But at the time, I said, I don't know how this could work in my favor.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it was the perfect preparation for the life that I live now as a wife and a mother. To be able to have the conversations with, especially our oldest, Kai, and tell him how kind of like we might be moving and uprooting and it might be difficult, but God has a purpose.
Yeah.
God's going to use this to better you.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool to think about.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think too, you having that experience of just picking up and moving ever so often, I think that it balances me out too, because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like me and my mom, like we were fortunate enough to, stay in the same area our whole lives, and obviously my whole family is still in the same area. My mom, mom and stepdad moved up a little bit to Ravenna, thank God, trying to get Granny and Papa out of there. But no, I think it balances, us out, and it evens me out too, because I am with someone who's experienced that, and you keep me. I don't know. You have allowed me to kind of see the positive side of things, and I know that I get concerned with like Kai, especially just because he's already been in so many different schools so fast. But I get comfort from you and how you were raised, because I mean you already did it. So and then I think about it too, is like with what you just said about, well, why would God pick us up from all the great connections that we've made? Actually, in church this past yesterday, Pastor Bob said something like, people always come to church because they need this, they feel like they need this. And he said there's nothing wrong with needing, church, like you feel like you need like, spiritual uplift, or you need that community, or you need there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But at the same time, maybe somebody else needs you. And I just think I think that matches our life perfectly, because we're going to a new state, and we don't know what it has in store for us, but I know the Lord has done work in both of us, and we've been able to see that firsthand. And I got a lot of good friends. I made a lot of close friends here. I think about AJ, I think about Smitty, I think about Jahan, I think about Saquon, I think about just all these players that I've grown close to, and coaches as well. Like, I just think about all these people that I've came close with. And it's like, it sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks to leave them, and to, see them, not, you're not going to be able to see them every day.
Right.
But the Lord has done work in us, and we're needed elsewhere. Yeah. And I truly believe that we are vessels, and I truly believe that we're going to continue to be vessels and do whatever it is he has in store for us. So
absolutely.
I think that's like the bittersweet sweetness of it. It's like,
it is, yeah.
We gotta leave, but like we leave in, and we know it's for a purpose.
Right. Just like we were nervous to come here, and we were upset. We weren't really upset moving out of New Jersey, but we made connections and had friends. And I think this year I've socialized more this year than 100%. I have in the last decade probably. Yeah. So even just going to church, speaking with friends there, Kai's school, football friends. So, but we know that we can do it, and we'll do it again. And I think another thing I keep coming back to when it comes to faith is thinking about like when things are difficult, and knowing that it's not supposed to be easy for us, like the straight and narrow path, we shouldn't get surprised that it's a narrow path that's hard to walk. Yeah. And we shouldn't be shocked that we have trials and things to overcome when that's what we're called to do.
That's what we're called to do. And if the road is easy peasy lemon squeezy, then that's when you need to be concerned. Yeah. That's when you need to be concerned, because once you give your life to Christ, things get hard. That's just the nature of it. I mean, you look at Christ's life, like his life was hard. It was hard even before he had to carry the cross. Like it was hard. I mean, so I truly believe, like you said, like it's all for a reason, and the trials are for a reason. We've seen the Lord grow in us, and we've seen him grow us as people, as believers. And so I think we're both excited for what's next.
Okay, speaking of the positives, I want to start something new. Maybe we'll do it weekly, maybe we won't. But with so much negativity and sadness in the world that I see every time we turn on the news, I wanted to kind of start by bringing something positive that we've seen, whether it be in pop culture, the news, anything like that, where we see the Lord glorified. And a story that Jesus fell over here. Kai's little mini Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
One of the stories that I've really liked following, and I think I kind of wore you out about it too, the astronauts that were stranded in space for 9 months. Yeah. It's a man and a woman, but I wanted to talk today about Butch Wilmore, who was the man that was stuck in space. And there are a lot of like conspiracies swirling around the space stuff, and I don't want to get into that because that's not our podcast, but I want to share the good. And that is that Butch shared that his journey was filled with challenges, but that his trust in God gave him the strength that he needed. He said in an interview, "My feeling about all of this goes back to my faith. It's tied to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He is working out his plan and purposes for his glory through all of humanity, and how that plays out in our lives is meaningful and important."
That's good.
He also said, although the mission had a scientific purpose, it was also a journey of spiritual growth for him. Obviously, we can relate to that.
Yeah, 100%.
He said, "I was never alone. God was there, even in the darkest moments." And then he finished his interview by saying, "I understand that he works in all things, some for the good, and others seem not so good to us. But all things work together for his good for all who believe."
I think that's so powerful just because, one, obviously, I mean, they're in space for 9 months, right?
9 months.
But then again, it's like, okay, you have this astronaut who, this job isn't, like, it's a job of, I guess for a better lack of words, like, it's a job of power. Like, that an astronaut, you look at an astronaut, you're like, wow, like, he's an astronaut,
like
right?
Every little kid wants to be an astronaut.
Exactly. And so I think anytime people in power are people who are viewed as the top of the mountain, top of their field or whatever, it's like how much influence they have if they say something just similar to that, right? Like how the effect that it would have on the world, the effect that it would have on so many people. So like I find that really cool when people take that initiative to make sure that they know, like, this is because of the Lord, or this happened because of the Lord, or I saw the Lord working me through this. And I don't know, I just think that's really cool. And you see that a lot in my space, right? Like with other NFL athletes who are making a point to point out Jesus in interviews and conferences. Like, I find that so dope because these are the people who are in influence.
Right.
And that's essentially what the Lord intended. Like that's why he intended it, and that's why he gives certain people certain platforms, because he knows that that's what they're going to do with it. So.
Exactly. I appreciate him too, turning to the Lord publicly for a trial, something that's difficult, because often you see people give praise when something incredible happens, which them coming home is incredible, but to give him the glory for the struggle as well. 100%. I don't see that a lot.
Yeah, you don't. And I think that's maturity too. I think that's just like Christianity, maturity, even like, I don't even know if that's a thing, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
I did read that he's an elder at his church in Texas.
Yeah.
And
so that makes sense. He's done his work. He knows, you know, like, praise God in the trials and praise him in the highs as well. Just, it goes hand in hand. You can't curse him in the trials and then thank him when something good happens. It's like, he's always there. He's the same God. So that's powerful. I love that. I love that a lot.
All right. I think that's all we're covering today. Just wanted to update and speak on what's been going on.
Yeah, it was a quick episode, but like I said, we're just happy to be back in front of the cams, in front of the lights, man. I know it's been a long time, and for the people that do tune in, we're sorry for the delay. We're sorry for the wait. But everything will be back to regular scheduled programming.
Absolutely. We appreciate your patience. And we wrote down all of the questions for the Q&A that we posted, and we'll get to those next episode. Yeah.
So look forward to doing that. But other than that, this has been another episode of Kicking It With Christ, and continue to tune in, continue to subscribe, and continue to follow the Lord.
All right. See you next week.
Thank you, guys.